In college football in the FBS division, they've been doing a 4-team playoff to see who the best team in college football is. But recently, there have been a lot of questions, and at least some people's minds going, I don't know if the best of the best are actually getting in. In this year's 2019 college football playoff, teams like Ohio State, who went 12-1 and won the Big Ten, and Central Florida, who are undefeated once again for the second year in a row, are being left out because they either had to play lesser competition in a non-Power 5 conference, or they just had one bad loss on their resume. But what if I were to tell you that we expanded the playoff from 4 teams to 8 teams? Would this include all Power 5 schools and their conference champions? So this adds Washington, that went 10-3 on the list, but that doesn't mean they necessarily get in. So today, myself along with Sam from Trash Talk will be here to figure it out. Sam, please take time to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sin. This will be a lot of fun to work on. Everybody else, if you like what you're about ready to see, be sure to check out my channel at Sam from Trash Talk. There should be a link below, so long as, Sin remembers to put it down there. But for now, let's get started. I gotta change my shirt now! Son of a...
Nice one, Sam. While he's going to change his shirt, I'll start with introducing the teams here. At number 1, is it really any surprise who's number 1? If you didn't say Alabama, I may have judged you a little bit there. Alabama is by far the best team in college football as of right now. They've ran through almost everybody they played this year outside of the SEC game against Georgia, where they had to come back with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback instead of Tua T. But nonetheless, Tua T did have a spectacular year. When Alabama actually has a quarterback, this team is even more dangerous than it already is. And with how they played through most of the regular season, and if Tua T's healthy, this team can do some damage. Sam, take it away at number 2.
Would it be too much to say that Clemson is the most underrated team in all of college football? Now hear me out. Living the season under the shadow of number 1 Alabama, I don't think it's that much of a stretch. The Tigers captured road wins against SEC powerhouse Texas A&M, conference rivals Georgia Tech and Boston College, as well as a 34-point home drumming against a then 5-1 NC State squad. Clemson will be led by All-American sophomore running back Travis Etienne, who led the ACC with 1,307 rushing yards and 20 touchdowns in 2018.
And at number 3, we have Notre Dame, by far, so far at least, the weakest team in this playoff so far. They are undefeated. They are 12-0. We have to respect that. You can't say the same thing about UCF, though, unfortunately, if you're in the real playoffs. Sorry, UCF fans, if I got you triggered. This is why we're doing this video in the first place. Anyway, they do have quality wins against Michigan. At the time, they were 14, and they have quality wins against number 7 Stanford at the time. At the time, also, number 24 Virginia Tech and number 12 Syracuse just a few weeks ago. But less than stellar wins against USC, Pitt, Vanderbilt. Those kind of raise a little bit of red flags. How consistent is their offense with Ian Book? I'm not entirely sure. Dexter Williams is also a pretty good running back. He had 12 touchdowns on the year in the running game for Notre Dame, and their defense is stellar. But their offense, especially in the passing game, has me raising a few eyebrows and asking a few questions. So I'm not entirely too sure what I think about this Notre Dame team. Sam, take it away at number 4.
Kyler Murray, the Oakland Athletics first-round pick from this past June. Yeah, the Oakland A's led the way after taking over for outgoing Heisman winner Baker Mayfield. Well, Kyler was about ready to live in the shadows of the number 1 overall pick from last season, as he won his own Heisman Trophy and led the Sooners to a 4th straight Big 12 championship. Now, I don't want to claim that Oklahoma had the best offense in the history of college football. They sure as heck belong in that conversation. They eclipsed 50 points in over half of their games this season, while only being held below 35 points once against an Army team that finished 11-2.
A lot of you may agree with this one. A lot of you may not. Number 5 is Georgia. Yes, they are a 2-loss football team. I get it. This team has also had some really tough losses on their resume and a lot of good quality wins on top of it. They have quarterback Jake Fromm, who leads the charge on their offense with DeAndre Swift in the run game. And their defense is also really fast as well. Quality wins against Florida, Kentucky, Auburn. A lot of good teams on this resume. Tough losses to LSU and Alabama in the SEC title game. That may hurt them. A lot of you people may say that this team belongs 6th on the list. But according to the college football playoff, we're going to go at number 5, Georgia. And with that, Sam will take number 6.
Before we begin, nope, wrong one. There we go, that's better. My Buckeyes trudged through a swamp of bad luck throughout the first half of the season. Between off-the-field coaching drama, losing potential top 5 NFL pick Nick Bosa for the season, and of course a bad road loss at the hands of Purdue, Ohio State was looking mediocre at best. However, after a scare at the hands of Maryland on the road, the Buckeyes did a 180 and put up 62 on a stellar Michigan defense, then took out Northwestern to be crowned Big Ten champions. Sophomore quarterback and Heisman finalist Dwayne Haskins leads the way, breaking the Big Ten Conference record for passing touchdowns, formerly held by Purdue's Drew Brees, and passing yards this past season.
Michigan fans, rejoice! Your team is in the playoff. At least in this make-believe scenario. One day it might be real, one day it may not be. I'm not entirely too sure. But for now, let's take a look at what Michigan has on their resume. Michigan's resume is pretty good. They had 3 quality wins against top 25 teams: Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Penn State. But they did have 2 tough losses on the road against Notre Dame and that horrible debacle against Ohio State. Their offense can be a little inconsistent at times. Shea Patterson isn't the most reliable quarterback, but their defense will fly all over the field. Michigan, your defense has to show up in this playoff, and your offense has to show up as well. But which offense will show up? Will it be the offense that puts up 56 against Nebraska and 42 against Maryland and Rutgers and Penn State? Or will it be the offense that shows up that puts only 21 up against Michigan State and 20 against Northwestern and only 17 against Notre Dame? I guess we'll find out, huh, Michigan?
Despite being crowned the Pac-12 champions for the second time in the past 3 seasons, the Huskies experienced their fair share of hiccups over the course of the year. An opening weekend loss to Auburn, as well as October losses to both Oregon and Cal, kept UW out of the at-large picture. However, to end the season, they knocked off Washington State in the Apple Cup and beat Utah for a second time in the Pac-12 championship, salvaging an otherwise lukewarm season. Linebacker Ben Burr-Kirven leads the best defense west of the Mississippi. The Pat Tillman Defensive Player of the Year anchored a defense that allowed fewer than 200 yards per game through the air and held opponents to 20 points or fewer on 8 separate occasions. If you saw my video from a few weeks ago, you know that I am not a big fan of the Central Florida Knights. But that doesn't mean this team's number 8 ranking isn't without merit. UCF quarterback Mackenzie Milton was named the American Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year for the 2nd straight year. The dual-threat quarterback threw for 25 touchdowns, led the team with 9 on the ground while only throwing 6 interceptions. But this is one of the benefits of an 8-team playoff. We get to see if the Central Florida Knights can prove their worth on the field and not just in the boardroom.
Now that the team's selected, the stage is set. And without further ado, we will get these games underway to determine who is the best team in the 8-team playoff. Alright, so we are underway here from the Orange Bowl. UCF versus Alabama in the first playoff game we have on tap. Alabama taking care of business so far, up 14-0 halfway through the first quarter. And Alabama's just given Mackenzie Milton and that UCF offense a very tough time. As expected, Alabama coming out guns a-blazing. But UCF does put up a touchdown. It's 21-7. Now it's 24-7 nearing halftime. Alabama just doing what they do best and just taking care of business. But can UCF make a comeback? They've been known to do that, so you can't sleep on UCF. But they do make it a 10-point game here. It's 24-14. And UCF has the ball to start the fourth quarter here. Oh, no, it's in 4th down. And it looks like it's been pretty stale here for the oh, wait a minute. UCF just made this a 3-point game. It is now 24-21. And Alabama has first and 10 at the 33. Can they put this one away? Yes, they can. It looks like they're going to put this one away. But you gotta give UCF a bit of a nod here. You gotta give credit where credit's due for UCF. They put up quite the fight, but now it's time to see if Alabama can put away Washington as well. And we are underway here between Washington and Alabama, as in the same field, the Orange Bowl. These kind of games will be played on neutral sites, of course, as any bowl game would have it, as Alabama jumps out to that early quick lead that they always seem to get out to, but Washington strikes back with a touchdown of their own here at 7-7. Nearing the end of the first quarter, both teams seem to be pretty deadlocked. There's been quite a few turnovers. Tua T did throw an interception, but it's not stopping Alabama. They get a touchdown right back, but they missed the extra point. Will it come back to bite them? I don't think so. They get another touchdown, making it 20-7. But near the end of the half, it's now 20-10 as Washington puts up a field goal to get it at halftime. Now, Washington does kick off to start the second half, but Alabama punts the ball away. Can they bring it any closer? It doesn't look like they will, as Alabama recovers a fumble, and it's now 23-10 here nearing the end of the third quarter as Tua T intercepted again. That Washington secondary must be giving him a hard time. He's thrown 2 interceptions already, as it's now 23-17 going towards the fourth quarter. Will Alabama lose to Washington? I mean, it's possible. Washington's secondary is one of the best in the country. We all know this. So Washington gives up a touchdown, but it's hard to stop that Alabama run game. We all know that. As it's now 29-17. A field goal in this scenario would even just put this game out of reach, and it looks like they get that. So it looks like Alabama escapes with 2 wins on this. So either way, as we look at it here, it doesn't really matter who Alabama faces in the first round. It's going to be an Alabama win. So with the next game on tap here, we have Sam from Trash Talk taking over the Clemson versus Michigan game. Sam, take it away.
Thank you, Sin, as we get ready for Michigan versus Clemson in this quarterfinal matchup. Clemson will start with the ball, and this is a big possession. You got to set the tone. I'm sorry, Michigan's going to start with the ball. You got to set the tone, and Michigan does. Great touchdown by the Wolverines to get things, and the defense just collapses on itself. Michigan back. All right, I guess we're not going to see any defense today. Again, 14-14, 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. Make that 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns, except for, unfortunately for Michigan, that was a scoop in score. And now Clemson's up 28-14. Not looking good for the Wolverines. And you can't even blame the defense in one of those cases, as it was a scoop and score. Well, you can blame the defenses, though, that going into halftime, there had been 8 touchdowns scored. We're in the third quarter, midway through, and Michigan needs to score here. They need, and all right, they've got the ball. Can they hold them? And they get held. Clemson just decide to show up, their defense at least, decide to show up in the second half. 38-28, Michigan needs something here, and they're not going to get, and this should be it for the Wolverines. They're going to get a meaningless touchdown, 45-35, and that is the final score. Disappointing, another disappointing display by the Michigan Wolverines defense. Sin, thanks, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Sam. As we are underway here, shifting gears a little bit, we're going to go to the Georgia versus Oklahoma game, the 4 versus 5 matchup, as Oklahoma takes an early 7-0 lead. As the defenses are showing up, even for Oklahoma, that's pretty interesting. That's something I never would have expected. Oklahoma's defense isn't really that good, but the offenses are starting to pick it up a little bit here. It's 14-all here going towards halftime, now 21-14 as Oklahoma takes the lead, but this is like a back-and-forth battle, one punch, and then the other guy comes back with the other one, and it's now 28-21 going into halftime. This is going to be one hell of a game, guys, as Oklahoma holds up here on defense, only gives up a field goal, but this makes things a little bit more interesting. As Georgia comes back and takes the lead, wow, what a game so far. This is going to be interesting. Photo finish, guys. Here we go. Put on your seatbelts. We're going to go for a wild ride as Oklahoma takes the lead 35-31, 2.5 minutes to go. And Oklahoma doesn't get anywhere on offense. And Georgia goes back down the field and takes the lead 38-35 with 37 seconds to go. But can Oklahoma, they don't come out with the win. That was a heck of a game though, guys. As now we're going to get on to the final matchup of the first round between Ohio State and Notre Dame. Sam, take it away.
Welcome back, and thank you again, Sin. Ohio State versus Notre Dame going up against each other, and we will open with Ohio State with the ball. And I would expect Ohio State to score early and often, and sure enough, 7 points on the board right away for the Buckeyes. Notre Dame held to nothing on their first possession. Not what they need, and Buckeyes answer with 7 points of their own. Notre Dame getting on the board finally with 3. Ohio State finally held, and we have a turnover, and the Buckeyes with a 21-3 lead as we head into halftime. At least it looks like, yep, halftime, that will be 21-3. Notre Dame needs to come out fighting. Notre Dame needs to score to make this a game, and there they go. All right, 21-10. Buckeyes with the ball back, and nothing coming of that possession. And still 21-10. It's getting late. Notre Dame's going to need to do something. The defense has managed to slow down Ohio State. The offense has not gotten anything done. I would love to see what book stats are with this game. And there's a touchdown. The 2-point conversion fails, and that is going to do it. The Buckeyes with the quote-unquote upset to advance into the semifinals. All right, Sin, back to you.
Thank you so much, Sam, as we are here at the second round of this tournament between Georgia and Alabama. And to start off, it's 3-0. It's pretty slow. But this is the third time these two teams have met since this last year's national championship game, the second time that they have met in the playoff, and they met at this year's SEC championship game. So it looks like Georgia could possibly get revenge for the last 2 times that they've lost in a heartbreaking scenario. But we'll see how this one goes. Georgia does have a 17-10 lead going into halftime, as we're pretty happy with the results so far. I can't complain. Me being an Alabama kind of, I would say, hater. You can call me a hater. I don't care. That's fine. But it's 17-17. It's a pretty good game so far, as Georgia does kick a field goal by Blankenship to make that a 2017 game, as Alabama goes down the field and takes a 24-20 lead. But Georgia responds with a touchdown of their own from Fromm, as he gets a 7-yard touchdown run. But Alabama has now a 4-point lead as Fromm throws an interception, as we are hoping and praying that Georgia doesn't choke again, and it looks like they're going to. And oh my goodness, they have one last shot here with 37 seconds to go. Can they pull this off? They have 83 yards to go. A 12-yard completion there, but nothing has come to light since. One last chance here for Georgia. Actually, one last chance here, and it kind of looks like they choked this one away again. Alabama comes out with the win, and it looks like they're going to the national championship game. Who will their opponent be? Sam, take it away between Clemson and Ohio State.
And we are on to our second semifinal between the Buckeyes and the Tigers of Clemson, and drive right down the field 7-0. So no shutout today for Ohio State, as they get the ball back right away 14-0. Are you kidding me? That's exactly the start that the Buckeyes needed, and holding Clemson to a field goal. Another touchdown for Ohio State, 21-3 midway through the second. Not looking good for the number 2 seed, and there's another touchdown for Ohio State as we get late into the second. Clemson needs to score. Clemson needs something, and they get nothing. 35-3 going into the locker rooms. I did not see this coming. Absolutely had no expectations for Ohio State to hold Clemson to 3 at halftime. Clemson's put up a couple, but Clemson defense, where are they? Like, I know Ohio State's offense is spectacular, but Clemson's got a great defense, as they've shown time and time and time again. And what a rout, 52-13. The Buckeyes take this semifinal. They'll face Alabama in the national championship game. I'm shocked beyond all belief. All right, Sin, let's take this back to you.
Thank you once again, Sam. So to recap, Alabama beats both UCF and Washington. Georgia beat Oklahoma. Clemson beat Michigan, and Ohio State beat Notre Dame in the first round. So that meant that Alabama faced Georgia, which we all know Alabama came out with the win, and Ohio State destroyed Clemson, which means that the national championship game in this playoff scenario is Ohio State versus Alabama. And said, Sam, I know you went to Ohio State. I want you to do this game. Take it away.
Alright folks, this is what you have been waiting for. No surprises with Alabama ending up in the national championship game. It's pretty much what everybody expected. It's what everybody expects in real life. Ohio State is the surprise team as they knocked off 2 undefeated teams in Notre Dame and in Clemson. One I kind of saw coming, the other one absolute upset. No idea that the Buckeyes would only give up 13 to the Clemson Tigers. Alabama will kick off to Ohio State to open the game. And I don't want to say Ohio State needs to get on a roll. Neither does Alabama, but those early possessions are always important, and both defenses holding their own all the way through the first half of the first quarter. And the Buckeyes finally breaking the deadlock with a field goal late in the first quarter. Ohio State with the ball again, 10-0 lead for the Buckeyes. Could they pull 3 straight upsets to win the national championship in this NCAA football 14 tournament? Alabama scoring a field goal before we go into the locker rooms. Buckeyes up by 7 going into halftime. Alabama will get the ball and they are going to tie it up. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ohio State answers right back, 17-10, Buckeyes leading. If you're Alabama, you have to be sweating right now, especially after that possession that went nowhere. Buckeyes with the ball back. If they put up points here, and they don't. Alabama needs to, and they did, right there. They get on the board, 2.5 left. Alabama with the ball, less than 2 minutes left. Can they push down the field and win the game? Field goal, 20-17. Alabama takes the national championship. I can't say I'm surprised. Ohio State putting up one hell of an effort against the Crimson Tide, but ultimately falling short in the national championship game. All right, Sin, thanks for everything. Back to you.
And thank you once again, Sam, for coming onto my channel and doing this project with me. I know we took a lot of time and thought and effort into this project, and I'm happy this turned out this way. If you guys really enjoyed this video, go check out Sam from Trash Talk. Seriously, I'm going to spam links all over the description, the comment section. Just go do it. You're doing yourself a favor, and I don't have to be screaming at you to go check him out because you guys should already be doing it. Am I surprised by the results? Not really. Alabama was the clear favorite from the very beginning. I am surprised by the fact that Ohio State did get to the national championship by pulling off a huge dominating upset against Clemson. Not really surprised against the Notre Dame win, of course, but still a fun, nice little theory slash simulation that we did together. And I'm glad we could do something like this, and hopefully we could do something more in the future. Let me know in the comment section. Seriously, let me know about this kind of stuff that I'm doing on this channel, because it really means a lot to me. That you guys' feedback does mean a lot on this channel, and I want this to be the best channel it can be going forward, and you guys are going to help me throughout every step of the way. So let me know how you guys like this video, and I'll be trying to do something more like this in the future. Maybe do something more about the college football playoff, maybe do a couple of other simulations and see how that goes. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know I really enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys did too. Go check Sam out. Links are in the description, in the comments. They're everywhere. Until next time, my name is SinWithVengeance. You guys have been amazing throughout this whole process, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.